In our last video, we talked about the benefit of extensions, and we discussed how one really valuable extension was this tool that allowed us to see changes as we were making them in our code. And in fact, up on my screen right now, I have this code on the left and then a preview view on the right. You notice that our H1 tag, or a header tag, says body mass index calculator. And I'm going to just change this from body mass index calculator in the code to body mass index tool. And now you can see as I'm typing in the code, you're seeing in the preview. But we went over that in the last video. Now I want to talk about another valuable and essential tool for this particular class to help us take this coding that we're doing and put it out on the web for it to become publicly available. Now, this particular tool takes a little more configuration, and you got to get it just right to make it work. So I'm going to walk you through the steps. I'm going to actually send along sample code for all of you. I'm going to be putting some really specific information in a configuration file. You have all that information. It's been sent to you in an email. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. First of all, I'm going to go to extensions. And that's this last icon for most of you. It'll be the last icon on the left-hand side bar. And you notice when I mouse over it, it says the word extensions. I'll click here, and for me, because I've already used this extension and searched for it, it's showing up as installed actually. It's just not being used. What you're going to want to do is search for an extension called SFTP. SFTP, Secure FTP. And you'll notice I'm going to give you a really specific author because there could be multiple tools with that same name, but this is the one we want to use. So I'm going to click on that, and when I do click on that name in the extensions panel, I get information about that extension. And there's a lot of information you should look over. So we're going to go down to item number 4, and we're going to make a new directory in this HTML folder. I'm going to right click and use the new folder item. And it's interesting that the directions tell us to make a directory, and the actual VS Code program says they want to call it a folder, but we know that it's the same thing. And we're going to name this folder VS Code. .VS Code, that's really important. Dot or period VS Code. So we now have a new folder called VS Code, and then we're going to put a file inside of that folder. And this file name is going to be sftp.json. sftp.json. And here we have the file. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy some code into that file, and I'm going to give you a sample of this code that you can customize for yourself. And right now we're going to talk about exactly what this code means. First of all, the My Server, that is a name you're given this profile. It is possible to have multiple servers as available that you want to sync to, and for instance there may be a development server where you would put some work as you're developing it that you don't want to be public. And then there may be a production server. But right now, I'm just calling my server my server. So this first line is just a name you're given this server profile. It can really be anything you want. It could be migrate server. The next is the host name. That's the IP address that I gave you. Then the protocol. And I'm just going to tell you right now, the protocol is SFTP. That's what it needs to be. And the port number, this is the one item in this, well, one of the only items in this whole configuration file where the value is not in quotes, but that's going to be 22. The username is going to be the username I gave you. And for all of you, your username should be student something, like student 54, student 109, student and then a number, just like I have it here. And then there'll be a password. Clearly, I don't have the right password here for my connection, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Everyone should have this name value pair of a remote path, and then it should be /public_HTML/. And this is the directory on the server. Each one of you are going to have this directory where all of your HTML files need to be placed, files and folders. And then I'm going to ask you to put these last three parameters: upload on save, which basically means when you save a file, it gets uploaded to the server. Use temp file, we're not going to do that, and use OpenSSH. We can talk about why these are important, but for now we're just going to have all these in there because I know this configuration file should work. Now we're going to pause just a moment while I get a little bit of additional information. Do 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 do. Now I'm going to replace the word placeholder with my password. And even though you don't see my password there, it is there. You're going to want to replace whatever placeholder I give you in the sample file text with the password that I've provided to you earlier on. Now we should be all set then at this point. One of the things you should know about VS Code, if you didn't know this, any tab that is not saved up at the top, you'll see the BMI tab, you see the extensions tab, and the tab that I'm working on right now, sftp.json. If they have the little white dot to the right of them, that means they haven't been saved. We're going to go ahead and save it, and this will save that configuration file. And the minute I did that, now this sftp.json doesn't have the white dot. We see BMI calculator.html. This one here still has the white dot because we changed something on it and we haven't saved it. We can go ahead and save that one too, and you'll see the white dot disappear. Okay. So I think our sftp.json, the configuration file that tells the extension how to connect with the server, what server to connect with, and how to connect with it. I think it's now complete. I believe we're in good shape. And you hear the hesitation in my voice because this has to be just right. And we're going to give it a try and see what happens. Now that you've saved your JSON file, the sftp.json, and you've closed that file in VS Code, then closed VS Code, now reopened it, everything should be activated. And we want to now give it a try. There's going to be a couple things that I want to do here. I'm going to open up Explorer, and we're already in Explorer, but I'm going to go to our files that we've uploaded, and we're actually going to go to chapter 5, and we will find a document here that you won't be using for a couple weeks, but just to demonstrate, simpleaudio.html, and you can see there's a little bit of code. We want to see that in a preview window, and there it is, a little audio player, and hopefully it works. Let's take a look. It seems to work. That's great. We want to make an edit to this and then move it up to the server, the public server where anyone can reach it. So let's talk about the steps we're going to do to make this happen. First of all, I'm going to change something, so we're making sure that my change really is taking effect. We're going to change this term. Hear us rock out with our new song, Death to Rubber Duckies. And we are going to change the name of the song from Death to Rubber Duckies to Love to Rubber Duckies. And you notice when I make the change on the left, I made the change on the right. Now, again, remember also that we have not saved this file. We know that because if we look at the tab on the code side, next to the name of the file is a little white dot, which says that the file has not been saved. But I don't want to save it yet. Normally I'd be okay with it if I thought this was what I want. But before I do that, I'm going to open a panel down at the bottom, kind of an error or log panel that's going to give us some indication of if there's anything happening with our upload. And there's a little button here. It says SFTP way down at the bottom of my screen. And when I click on that, I should get this output window that will hopefully move in just a minute. We're going to see. Remember, we had set this configuration file, the code that I gave you, the configuration I gave you, to actually upload upon save. So anytime there's a save, it would upload the file to the remote server. A couple things I want to show you. First of all, let's take a look and see if the file currently exists, because I've already been working on it outside of this video out on the server. So I'm going to pull my browser window over here, and you notice that this browser window includes my IP address. Yours will include your IP address, followed by a tilde. That's a little squiggly. Usually it's shift way up at the top left of your keyboard. And your your individual name will be tilde student 23, student 45, or in my case, student 8. And you see there's a couple directories here, chapter 5, and then the audio file title. And so right now, instead of viewing the file locally, I'm viewing it out on the web. Anyone should be able to publicly go to this URL and see this file. And good news is it plays here as well, as you just heard. So I'm going to set this aside. I wanted to show you that the code that says Death to Rubber Duckies is out on the web. And we're going to set it aside for just a moment. And then we are going to take a step here. And this is kind of the step to see, is anything going to happen? We're going to save this file, simpleaudio.html. And when I do that in just a moment, and you know I could do it with a keyboard shortcut, but I'm going to show you the menu to get to it under File. When I save it, I want you to pay special attention to this logging area at the bottom of the VS screen, VS Code screen. And it should move. It should move when I actually save this file. So I'm going to save this file, simple audio text. We know it's not saved because of the little dot. That's probably going to go away. So I'm going to say File, Save. And the moment I do that, see all that activity that happened down at the bottom of your screen? That means something happened. And you could actually look at this log file and figure out exactly what happened. Also, you'll notice that the little dot up on the tab next to Simple Audio File is no longer there. So it's signifying that it's been saved. I'm going to pull my live open public version of this file up, and you remember it said Death to Rubber Duckies. I just zoomed in a little bit on it, but if I reload this, hopefully it will say Love to Rubber Duckies. And there it does. It says Love to Rubber Duckies. So what do we know has happened? What we know is we made a change to the file. We saw it in the preview. And because our SFTP extension, which connects to the server, was properly configured, we were able to send the update. As soon as it's saved, the update automatically uploaded to the server, and now it's publicly available. Now, I know there's a lot of steps here. And I also know that, again, as I said earlier, it has to be just right in that configuration file. But if you follow the steps I've given you here, you should be okay. And if you find that you have any problems, please let me know. I'll get on a call with you. This assignment is you taking a picture showing not that you've uploaded something, but actually that your configuration file is right. But I'm depending on you to, when you send in that file picture to me through Blackboard, that you've actually tried successfully to upload a file and it's worked. So you got to change something in a file, upload it, and then try to figure it out. Again, there's a little mapping that has to be done between what's on the, when I say mapping, you have to figure out how do I find this on the web. Remember, this is, if you look at my URL here, it's my IP address followed by the user ID, followed by the directory it's in, and this was in chapter 5 if you look on the left hand side, and that directory is the same on the server as it was on your local machine, followed by the file name. So a lot going on here. Give it a try and let me know. I want you to work through it a little bit and try a few things. If it's not working real well for you, try a couple options, but don't get hung up on it for hours and hours. If you're having trouble, shoot me an email and tell me you'd like to get on a Zoom call, and I'm sure we can figure it out very quickly. I am looking forward to this semester together. For some of you, I realize this may have all been review because you've used this in other settings, but the slow, deliberate instructions as part of this video were meant for those who maybe haven't used VS Code or haven't had to hook it to an external server. Thank you for your patience as we've worked through this, and let me know what I can do to help as we go forward. Have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to getting your submissions soon.